The tale of the Astute Kadi. It is related that there was once a Kadi in Cairo who committed so many prevarications and gave so many interested judgments that he was deprived of his high office and had to live by his wits. One day, when his head was as empty as his pocket, and his pocket as empty as his belly, he called his one remaining slave to him, a rascal as tricky and hungry as himself, and said to him, "I am ill and cannot leave the house today. You must either find us something to eat by going about the streets, or else send some people to me for legal advice." The slave departed with the intention of molesting some passerby and then dragging him before his master to be fined. So, as soon as he saw a peaceful citizen coming towards him holding a bundle on his shoulder with both hands, he tripped him up and sent him flat on his back into the mud. The victim rose furiously with stained garments, torn slivers, and was about to crack his and his anger sore when he recognized the Kadi's slave and, turning tail, fled away from so dangerous an encounter. "They all know me, just as they all know my master," grumbled the slave. "I must think of some other way." As he turned a corner, he saw a man carrying on his head a dish which contained a super stuffed goose, garnished about with tomatoes, artichokes, and young marrow in a tempting pattern. The slave followed this man, and saw him enter the public kitchen and deliver the bird to the master of the oven, saying that he would call for it in an hour.
"Here is my change," thought the Kadi's slave. After a few minutes he entered the kitchen, saying, "Greeting, O Mustafa." The master of the oven recognized him and replied, "Greeting, O Mubarak. It is a long time since my coals have burned for your master. Have you brought something for me to cook for him today?" "Nothing except the coals," answered Mubarak. "I have come for that, but it doesn't belong to you, my brother," objected the cook. "Say not so, O Sheikh," retorted the slave. "I watched the goose come out of the egg. I fed it, I killed it, and I stuffed it. If that is so, I'm ready to give it to you," answered the cook. "But what shall I say to the man who broke it? He was acting under my instructions," replied Mubarak wearily. "I don't think that he will return, but if he does, he is fond of a good joke, and you had better tell him that the goose gave a sharp cry and flew away as soon as you put the dish in the oven. Now give me the bird, please, for I am sure that it's done." At this point, Shahrazad saw the approach of morning, discreetly fell silent. But when the 804th night had come, she said, The cook laughed heartily and gave the dish in all confidence to Mubarak, who hastened with it to the Kadi's house and helped his master to pick it clean. Soon the owner of the goose came into the kitchen, saying, "My bird must be done, good master." "Not so," answered the cook, "for as soon as I put her in the oven, she gave a piercing cry and flew away." The man, who had no humor in all his body, cried angrily, "Oh, nothing! Do you dare to lie in my bird?" Words led to curse led to blows, and soon the two men were violently fighting in the midst of a crowd which had speedily invaded in the kitchen. "They are fighting over the resurrection of a stuffed goose," said some of the neighbors. and most of them took side with the cook, whose honesty had always been unquestioned.
Among the spectators was a pregnant woman, whose curiosity had thrust her into the front rank. As the cook aimed a terrific blow, his adversary stopped aside and the unfortunate woman received the first in her belly. She fell to the earth with a scream like that of an outraged hen and suffered an abortion on that spot. Her husband, who dwelt in a neighboring fruit shop, was told of the accident and ran up with an enormous bludgeon, crying, "I'm going to bugger this cook and his father and his grandfather. I'm going to sweep off all the tribe of cooks from the face of the earth." The master of the oven, being already worried, would not wait to face him, but fled precipitately, fearing pursuit. He climbed on a two neighbor's terrace by way of the old wall and let himself drop over the balustrade. His fat will, though he should fall, with all his considerable weight, on a more who lay sleeping upon the terrace. All the poor man's ribs were broken and he died without waking. Other Moors, who were his kinsmen, ran up and secured the cook, beating him with sticks preparatory to leading him before a judge. The owner of the goose and the husband of the pregnant women joined themselves to the Moor, and they were all starting off, when the Kadi's slave, who had come back to spy the end of the affair, ran before them, crying, "Follow me, good folk, I will show you the way." Not knowing who he was, the injured parties followed him and were conducted into the presence of his master.
Putting on his gravest air, the Kadi first took double deposit from all the pleaders and then pointed his finger at the accused, saying, "What have you to say in the matter of the curse, O cook?" Thinking that he had better adhere to the story told by the Kadi's slave, the cook replied, "As Allah lives, O our master the Kadi." The bird gave a shrill cry and stabbed as she rose from among the corniching and flew away. Hearing this, the owner cried, "Son of a dove, do you dare to tell such a tale in front of our Lord the Kadi?" But at this the Kadi waxed indignant, saying to the owner, "And do you dare, O impious unbeliever, to doubt that he, who shall raise all creatures on the last day, collecting their scattered bones from the wide face of the earth, cannot give life to a ghost who has all her bones complete and only lacks feathers?" Hearing this, the assembled court cried, "Glory be to Allah, who raises the dead," and halted the unfortunate owner of the bird until he departed, lamenting his leg. Then the Kadi turned to the husband of the women who had miscarried, saying, "What have you to say against this man?" He heard out the complaint and then gave judgment. "The matter is clear. The cook certainly caused the abortion. The law of retaliation is strictly applicable here. You, O injured husband, have won your case, and I empower you to take your wife and leave her with the guilty party until he makes her with child again. Also, she may live in his house and at his charge for the first 6 months of pregnancy, as the accident happened in the 6th month." Hearing this judgment, the husband cried, "Oh, our Lord the Kadi, I withdraw my complaint. My hour pardon my adversary. As the husband was leaving the presence, the Kadi asked the relation of the dead more what charge they broke against the cook. They answered in a speed of words and wide of gestures, showing the dead body and clamoring for the price of blood. The evidence is conclusive, replied the Kadi. The price of blood is due to you. Will you be paid in money or in kind? That is to say, blood for blood. In kind of Kadi, shouted the savage Moors. Be it so, proclaimed the Kadi. Take this cook, wrap him in the coverlet of your dead kinsman, and place him underneath the minaret of the mosque of Sultan Hassan. Then the victim's brother may climb up the minaret and fall the summit on top of the cook, to crush him as the victim was crushed. Which of you is the victim's brother? A certain Moor stood forth, crying, Oh, our Lord the Kadi, I withdraw my complaint against this man. May Allah pardon him. Then he departed, followed by all the folk of his house. The crowd went out marveling at the equity, subtlety, and profound legal knowledge of the Kadi. When the noise of the affair reached the ears of the Sultan, he took the Kadi back into favor and restored him to his high function, dismissing the honest man who had replaced him. This letters out his downfall as far as he may see, to the fact that he had never stolen a horse, seeing that the king still hung eagerly upon the words the hasty Etherfell flattered, and also told the tale of